Have you ever met someone and it just clicked and you felt like you knew that person for a really long time, even though you just met, but you felt instantly comfortable around them? Well, what if you had the power to do that with anyone that you met? Because in order for her to start an intimate relationship with you, she needs to feel comfortable with you. And it's actually a lot easier than you think. And I'm gonna show you how to move from being complete strangers to being deeply connected to someone, and how to make her feel like she's known you for years, even though you've only been talking for a few minutes. My name's Matt Artisan from The Attractive Man, and this is 10 power questions to get her to open up to you. Now, most guys ask a bunch of questions to get to know her, but they don't really know her. And, you know, she can feel that. Because they might ask her about her parents or her favorite activities or subjects or her job or whatever, but they don't dive in to who she really is, her motivations, and they don't find out what really makes her special. And every girl knows that she's, you know, different and special, and she wants a guy who can see that. When you're the kind of guy that truly understands who she is and, you know, sees her as a one-of-a-kind, special little snowflake, then she will fall for you. Because every person inherently wants to feel special, they want to feel appreciated, and they want to feel understood. So you need to express that you really care about who she is as a person instead of just trying to get in her pants. Now, before we get into the 10 power questions that will help you build an intimate connection with a girl, first, I want to give you 5 very important guidelines. There's these cool little animals. I don't know what they are. Kind of like raccoons, little scavengers.
Hey, by the way, all your friends are right there.
Probably getting drunk off of whatever drink they just spilled. They got the right idea though. It's Christmas time here in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, which I think is the best time to come here, get out of the cold, and spend Christmas in the sand instead of the snow. Just another day in paradise. Now, you want to draw out her emotions and use the word feel in your language as much as you can. For example, what's one thing about your hometown that makes you feel warm and, you know, all fuzzy inside? And now, when I say that, I'm basically asking her to feel warm and fuzzy inside. And by doing this, you'll see a noticeable shift in her emotions. She will actually start to light up. And look, man, don't try to solve her problems, because when women feel connected to you, they want to, you know, share vulnerable things. They want to share everything that's going on in their life, including their problems. Don't try to fix them. I know that's in our nature as men, but she really doesn't want you to solve her problems. She just wants you to listen. She just needs, you know, somebody to talk to, and she just wants you to listen empathetically. So that's the key. Don't solve the problem, just listen empathetically. Now, to truly create trust and connection, you must be vulnerable and actually share something revealing about yourself. This is where you actually take the facade off and let her see who you really are inside. Now, make sure also that you yourself have good answers to the questions that you ask her, because, you know, she might ask you the same question in return. She might say, "What about you?" So have a good question, and don't be afraid to be a little bit vulnerable and share something personal. Now, at first, she'll probably give you the standard answer to your question, like she does most guys. But what you need to do is probe more to find out what is really important to her, especially if you ask questions like, "Where are you from?" or "What do you do?" So good follow-up questions are, "Tell me more about that," or "How does that make you feel?" or "What inspired you to do that?" And finally, for her to feel comfortable around you and open up to you, you need to first be comfortable in her presence. This is absolutely key, because if she can sense any fear or nervousness or discomfort, then she'll likely want to end the date quickly rather than get to know you further. But don't worry, we have a lot of resources for you, such as live workshops, to help you really feel more confident and relaxed when you're around gorgeous women.
They don't use the laboratory yeast. They use with a wild yeast, okay? They just leave the rice. And here we have on your first glass from your left, We have an unfiltered sake. The
So-
brand is Momokawa.
Does this one have extra juice?
No, just as unfiltered.
Oh, it looks like it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now let's get into the questions. And by the way, these questions are not intended to be asked consecutively like an interview. Weave them into your conversation naturally. That's absolutely key. And by the way, if you don't have a copy of my conversation cheat sheet, get it, man, because it'll help you not only with dates, so you can have fun, flirty dates, but also help you when you see a beautiful woman know exactly what to say and how to take the conversation further in a smooth way that paints you as the prize and gets her to start chasing you without being weird or gimmicky or having to memorize any lines or routines or any like pickup artist trick. So make sure to download it. There's a link down in the description and at the end of this video. So keep watching. All right, number 10. Imagine you could have your ideal day. What would it look like? Where would it be? Who would it be with? And what would happen on this dream day of yours? Now, this is a great question because it really elicits values and helps you find out who she really is. Because within this one question, she'll tell you about the man that she wants in her life, or what she likes doing and the people and the activities that are important to her. So just let her speak and then go back and dive into the topics that really made her light up with joy. Do you like my new shades? I don't have a knife, so I gotta wear them like this. I tried biting it, it didn't work. All right, my brother's gonna try to bite them. Sharp teeth. Next question. What's one thing that you're really proud of that you don't openly share to people? Now, many people are proud of certain, accomplishments or traits, but they don't share them because they don't want to seem boastful or bragging. Now, here you're giving her permission to boast, and you'll find out something probably pretty interesting about her. Next, tell me something personal about you that no more than 10 people know about. Now, of course, there's a lot of ways you could word this question, but the point is that after she answers, it'll make her feel so connected with you. After all, she's sharing something that she doesn't share with most people, and that almost instantly makes you like in her close circle of relationships, because you're on that same wavelength as them. Only they know personal things about her, now you do. So make sure that you have some level of rapport, or she's likely not to answer that question. Or also, you might get a traumatic story about rape or abuse or death or something like that. So make sure to be prepared for that. And it's okay if that happens, just be ready for it and be empathetical towards her answer. Remember, you're getting to know her, so it's good if she opens up to you in that kind of way. Your personal answer to this question should also demonstrate good qualities about you. It can be vulnerable, open up and let her get in a little bit, but also you don't want it to be just like a really bad quality, like you're addicted to internet porn or something like that. By the way, if you are, because I know a lot of guys are, and me being vulnerable to you, I was addicted for a long time, like over a decade. So I created a whole video on what to do if you are addicted to internet porn, or really, it's useful for any addiction. So I'll put a link to that down in the description. So we're here doing fish pedicures. I'm curious, ladies, what do you think of a guy that gets pedicures? Good or kind of too femme for you?
Depends on the guy, honestly. I think it's good.
Is having nice, clean, well-kept toes an important thing? Like you see a guy's toes and they're really gross. Is that like an instant turn off?
Oh, absolutely. You gotta keep good care of yourself.
You gotta keep good care of yourself. So get a pedicure. You can even get a fish pedicure. I'm in H&M in Mexico, which is one of my favorite stores because A, it's really cheap, and B, it's a lot of simple clothing, which means you can add layers or textures or a lot of jewelry or accessories. But anyways, let's get on to the next question, which is what is your vision? Or, what are your goals? Like, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? But I don't like that question because it sounds like an interview style question. So instead, just what is the vision of your life? Because You see, women have goals as well. It's not just us guys. A lot of times us guys get so wrapped up in our own mission that we forget to listen to the vision or the goals of women. So just ask her what she wants in life and you'll find out a lot about her, and then you can see if that kind of lines up with your vision for your life or not. Now, here's the deal, man. You think it's all about the questions, all about what to say, but it's not. These questions will help. They'll help you get to know her faster and get her to open up to you. But it's really about your vibe, how present you are, how relaxed you are, how comfortable you are in that situation with her, and really how grounded and comfortable you are in the tension. Whether it's a date, there's gonna be some awkward tension, perhaps because you don't know her, or if you just approach her, of course, there's gonna be a lot of tension because she's a complete stranger. The more present and the more grounded you are, despite what you say, the more attracted and comfortable she'll be with you. In fact, I go on lots of dates and I approach a lot of women in other countries where they don't speak any English, and here I'm in Mexico and my Spanish is pretty bad, yet I can still get a girl attracted to me and make her feel a lot of rapport and a sense of comfort really quickly, even if we don't speak the same language. It doesn't really matter, because your body language, your vibe, and how present and grounded you are gonna matter a lot more than the words you say. Now, I really like this question. It's pretty basic. It's how are you? No, really, how are you? Because when someone's asked how are you, or how was your weekend, most people give the short, generic, good response. They didn't really answer the question, did they? So challenge them a little bit, a little bit deeper to answer the question by telling them, no, really, how are you? Or no, really, how was your weekend? And by doing this, you're demonstrating your power and your concern for them. And you also learn a little bit more about them, just from the superficial good that gives you really nothing. Now, also, I want you to get into the habit of giving a real answer when someone asks you these questions. Now, if you don't have time to, dive into somebody's weekend and you don't really want a rich answer from them, then don't ask them, how are you? Instead, just say good morning or good afternoon or good evening instead. Tell me something interesting about yourself. Now, this is my go-to qualification question when I meet a woman during the day. I don't know anything about her. I don't know if I want to get her phone number yet, so I ask her that. It's kind of a broad question, and she can take it in pretty much any direction she really wants to. Tell me one interesting thing about you, because I don't know anything about you. And it shows that I have standards for people in my life, and that her looks only got my foot in the door, and that she has to tell me something interesting about herself to get any further with me, which, when you do this, it paints you as the prize and subtly gets her to start chasing you and trying to win you over. And that's what a woman wants. She doesn't want a woman that's so easy, that's head over heels in love with her right away. She wants a guy that's a little bit of a challenge that she has to work for. Who has been an influential role model to you? Now, this is a really good question because it can give you some insight into her childhood or past relationships, and of course, what's really important to her. Next is, what's the most memorable book, or you can substitute that with movie, concert, or whatever, that you have ever read. This is really good because it brings her back to the good emotions during that experience. And since you're the one that she's talking to and the one she's looking at, then she starts to associate those good, positive emotions with you. Number 2, what are you passionate about in life right now? Now, I really like this also as a qualification question because it really kind of narrows things down and gets more specific. Like, tell me something interesting about you. She could tell you something that's not that important, like she has a tattoo on her butt. But when you say, what are you passionate about, or what are you passionate about right now, you get a lot more insight into who she is as a person. What about, like, what do you love to do? Like, what are you passionate about? And make sure also to have a good example. If she says, what about you? Make sure you know what you're passionate about. Have a good answer for that question. We're about to see the second largest reef in the world here in Playa del Carmen. Pretty cool. And finally, one of my favorite questions, what's the happiest day of your life? which is another great question to really draw out some powerful and very positive emotions. And of course, she'll be associating those emotions subtly with you because you're the one drawing them back out. And here's a bonus question that I like too. What do you think I'm like? It's a great date question because you'll actually get some useful feedback sometimes on how you're showing up and how you're doing in the interaction and how she actually perceives you. So go ahead and try to use these questions on your next date or next time you approach a woman and watch how she opens up to you and feels a lot more connected to you in really no time at all. And remember, I want you to really find out who she is as a person. Think about it like that's your mission. She's cute, so I'm gonna go talk to her, but I wanna find out who she really is and see if we're a good match or not. That's the mindset. Now, maybe you have some great questions that have worked well for you in the past. If so, write them down in the comment section below. Also, write down any other videos that you'd like to see on this channel. And make sure to subscribe to this channel, click that bell notification icon so that you're notified of upcoming videos. Make sure to download that conversation cheat sheet. And if you got any questions for me, hit me up on Instagram. I wanna chat with you and help you out. My name is Matt Artisan from The Attractive Man, and I'll see you in the next video.